Looking to sound like you know what's going on in the world? Pop culture, social strategy, comedy, and other funny stuff? Well, join the club and settle in for the Jeff Dwoskin Show. It's not the podcast we deserve, but the podcast we all need, with your host, Jeff Dwoskin.
All right, Tim. Thank you so much for that amazing introduction to get the show going each and every week. And this week was no exception. Welcome, everybody, to episode 94 of Live from Detroit, the Jeff Dwoskin Show. As always, I am your host, Jeff Dwoskin. Great to have you back for another amazing episode. This one, we're dialing up the hilarity with our special guest comedian, Rocky Laporte. That's right, Rocky Laporte. You loved him on Last Comic Standing, on his many appearances on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, one of the funniest human beings in the world. I had the pleasure of working with him way back, and I was excited when he found time to swing by the show and hang with me for a little bit. I'm excited to share our hilarious conversation with you, and that's coming up in just a few minutes. I'm still knee-deep in fan letters from episode 92. Scott Dickers was here, one of the founding editors of The Onion, shared so many great stories. What? The Onion? That's right. If you missed it, after you listen to Rocky Laporte today, swing back and catch that. As a matter of fact, there's like a billion episodes waiting for you. Go to jeffisfunny.com. You can check them all out. Make sure you're subscribed on one of the podcast apps. Then you get alerted every time one of the episodes is released on Monday or when one of the bonus episodes are released on Thursdays. You want to be in the know? Subscribe, follow, like. It's totally free. You pick your favorite app. Good Pods, Apple, Spotify, iHeart. Whatever it is, you do you, boo. But it's never miss an episode. I'm going to make buttons that say that. And now it's time for the social media tip. All right, this is the part of the show where I get to share a little bit of my social media knowledge with you. A little 411 I picked up on the street. I've been in the social media game for most of my career, and I believe rising the tide helps us all become better on the socials. My tip for you today is make buttons for everything you do. I kid. My actual tip today is for iOS users. There's this new feature with the new iOS where if you're pasting, you can actually scan text with your camera and it'll pop it into your tweet or Facebook post or email, whatever you're using. You hold down your thumb like you're trying to paste something in, a little scan icon comes up, activates your camera on the bottom of your phone, point it at text, and then you click insert when it has the text you want, and it'll put that right into your document. It's not good for handwritten stuff. It has to be like typed, but could be handy. I'm not sure. Check it out. Let me know. Tweet at me at Jeff Dwoskin Show, and let me know if you found a good way to use it. In the meantime, have fun exploring. And that's the social media tip. I do want to thank everyone in advance for their support of the sponsors. When you support the sponsors, you're supporting us here at Live from Detroit, the Jeff Dwoskin Show. And that's how we keep the lights on. Today's interview sponsor is the Kitchen Network Can Opener. Tired of not eating because all your food came in a can? Tired of ruining your countertops trying to open cans by smashing them into the edge?
Ugh, there has to be a better way.
Well, now there is. The Kitchen Network Can Opener can safely open any can in under 90 to 120 seconds. Just attach the Kitchen Network Can Opener to your small, medium, or large can, and in 30 to 40 turns of our magic handle, the top will be removed and you'll be ready to eat like a king who used to be a king.
Peas.
The Kitchen Network Can Opener, because you deserve to eat too. All right, well, check out the Kitchen Network Can Opener. They are really awesome. I bought everyone one for the holidays. I got lots of interesting looks, so I know they loved them a lot. Anyway, I think it's time for me to share my conversation with Rocky Laporte with you. Rocky is one of the funniest comedians in the world. I was a huge fan of Rocky, and then I got to work with Rocky Laporte. And while I was doing my set, I could hear Rocky laughing at my jokes while I was on stage. Let me tell you, there's no greater joy or sense of just accomplishment when you hear someone who you admire laughing when you're doing something that you admire them for so much. It was great to catch up with Rocky. He shares a lot of great stories. You're going to love it. Enjoy. All right. I'm excited to introduce everyone. Stop it. Excited to introduce everyone to my Next guest. Oh my God. He's open for Gary Shandling, Tim Allen. He was on Last Comic Standing. One of the funniest comedians around. Ladies and gentlemen, Rocky Laporte. How are you, Rock?
I'm doing good, buddy. It was good seeing you in Detroit last time.
Yeah, for sure.
That's where we met, right? At Ridley's, right?
Yes. Oh yeah. Good times in Detroit.
So what do you think of all this? What's the future of comedy here, buddy?
Podcast is
Is us talking in our bedrooms.
everyone just is like, are you famous? Yes. Oh, so you've been on the Jeff Dwoskin show? Yes. Yes, I know. So Rocky, you've done a million things. I'm most interested in kind of just diving directly into the CBS pilot you did, the Rocky Laporte show. How did that come about, and what happened to it, Rocky?
Well, my managers had people from the networks come out to see. I had great managers, Messina Baker. They had Tim Allen, Drew Carey. Tim's a Detroit guy.
Mm-hmm.
I had the worst luck, brother. My first pilot that I had, the writers went on strike. And then the second development deal I had, the actors went on strike. So the networks just said, you know what? We're going to put on some show where people get, they eat coconuts and get voted off an island. And that'll only cost us like a fourth of what we're paying, these sitcom guys. And that's how reality TV came about. That was the network's way of kicking back, of going, hey, you know what? We're not paying $1 million an episode for Friends anymore. We're going to get these, knuckleheads that'll, swim with sharks and give them $30 an episode. So yeah, that's kind of what happened.
It's such a, what was the show about? And what was like the process? Did you have to write it? The only frame of reference I have is the Seinfeld show where they got the sitcom.
No, I wish they would have, I didn't like that my name was even on there. They were calling it the Rocky Laporte show. And this show was actually written for another guy. He was a Canadian comic, but they found out that it wasn't a good fit and he couldn't act. So they just changed it. They go, let's just get an Italian guy. I go, listen, if you want to get an Italian guy, like get Tony Danza or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't mind sinking with an idea if it's mine. Like if I think something's funny and I go down in flames, I'm okay with that. But to have someone else's words that they think is funny in your mouth and then you sync with it, like that stink is on you. You know what I mean? They go, oh, we gave Rocky a show and I thought, and they wouldn't give me a lot of leeway. I kept I go, hey, wouldn't it be funnier if we did this or we did that? Showrunner goes, no, let's just shoot it this way and we'll reshoot it that way later on. But they never did because he was shooting another show with that guy from 2.5 Men, not Charlie Sheen, the other guy, John Cryer.
John Cryer, that's right.
Yeah. So that network had a commitment for 13 episodes. So that was his baby. So he was trying to run over there every day and take care of that. Where mine, I felt like he just wanted to get it shot. Like, let's just get this done and move on. And I think it could have been a lot funnier if they would have let me be me. Like, that's the thing I don't get about Hollywood. Like, they say you on stage and they go, oh, that Jeff's hysterical. Let's hire him. And then, what did you do for a living before you got into comedy?
Social media, digital.
Oh, did you really? Okay. So that's what you do. That's what you know, right?
Right.
So they're going to take you and they go, hey, Jeff, we're going to have you work on rocket engines. And you're going to be, it's like, I don't know nothing about rocket engines. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you're going to have a wife and a dog and 9 kids you adopted. Like if they let you be, like they let Tim Allen be Tim Allen. They let Ellen DeGeneres be Ellen and Roseanne and Seinfeld. All those sitcoms were successful because they let those comics be who they were,
Right. So that's unfortunate because you're hilarious, and that would have been great to have an actual. Well, okay. Now I've seen the pilot on YouTube. Now that you've told me it isn't you, I don't.
I hated every minute of it.
It's a shame that they would have such a talent and then not be able to do it. But they're just trying to crank it out. It sounds like they were just trying to. The guy had other priorities.
Yep.
But that other show, since it wasn't 2.5 Men, must have gone nowhere too, right?
Yeah, nothing got aired that year because of the strike. Like everything just kind of fizzled,
Hmm.
That's my luck. Yeah. And then the second time I had to deal with Disney ABC, and I came up with this great idea. And they had these two young girls. They were kind of like the gatekeepers. I go, it's kind of like an adult version of Welcome Back, Kotter. And they stared at me. They didn't know what Welcome Back, Kotter was. Like, and it was on their network. Like, you think if you're like, this is your business, like you would kind of know a little bit about the history of it. They had no idea what I was talking about. So it was like, oh my God, like, what do you do with this? Where do you go?
Tim Allen's had 2 shows. He couldn't convince him to give you one more shot at a show.
Yeah. It's so weird. Tim wanted me to come out there and do some stuff. But at that point, I was already in LA for 14 years. And I just kind of got burned out on the whole process. And I moved back to Chicago. I just go, you know what, man, I'm done for now. I'll just do a podcast out of my bedroom.
I hear it's all the rage. Mine's out of my basement, but whatever, same idea.
Nice.
Same idea,
Look at you. You have more room. Look at you got a bigger studio.
Oh, man. So is there any chance there ever being a proper Rocky Laporte show, or is it kind of like...
Well, it seems now like a lot of people are moving out of LA and you can kind of film. A lot of people are doing their own little things and then they'll see them on Netflix or whatever. And then, there's always a chance of something happening, and I would like it to be. I was even thinking of maybe shooting a short movie or an idea and pitching it that way, So we'll see. I guess you just keep punching, buddy.
Yeah, you got to just keep going. This is going to happen for you. Yeah. I will not rest until Rocky Laporte has a show.
Well, I like that. I like that. That's the same feeling I have about the Bears. I keep thinking every year they're going to be good, and then I just get disappointed.
We have the Lions. It's all right. It's the same.
Oh, my God.
So, all right. So talk to me about your friendship with Tim Allen, because you've also done 2 movies with Tim Allen.
Tim's a nice guy. I was doing Last Comic Standing. I guess he was at home watching it on television, and he saw me, and he really liked me. He goes, this guy's funny. So he got a hold of Rick Messina at the time, and he asked me to do a fundraiser, like a benefit for this Boys and Girls Club out there in Los Angeles. I go, yeah, I'll do it. I did it, and then he goes, hey, call my agent on Monday. We're going to try and get you a part in this movie, So he's been good to me. Tim's been kind to me, He's a good guy.
Yeah, I've met him once at the Comedy Castle. Because he's from here. He's from the Detroit area.
Yeah. And
then I did a show with him once. We did a Dick Purtan fundraiser.
Oh, I did that. That's Dick's a great guy, ain't he?
Yeah. Oh, Dick Purtan's amazing. And so we do the show. I meet him beforehand. And I remember thinking to myself, I was asking him about Galaxy Quest or something like that. And then I'm like, I totally forgot. I was talking to Buzz Lightyear. I was freaking talking to Buzz Lightyear, and it didn't even occur to me. I was so caught up in like Galaxy Quest.
And Santa Claus.
Yeah, and too. Santa Claus, right. I'm Jewish. That one wasn't as close to my heart.
Oh, that's funny. There was a couple scenes we had in a movie. They always seem, I don't know who edits these things, but there was a funny scene in a movie. They cut out like a lot of your lines, like that are hysterical. And I don't know. I was telling Tim, I go, I want to fire my agent, but he won't take my calls. And they didn't. And I go, that's a funny line. That's a showbiz line. People in showbiz would have got it, but they took it out.
Which one was that?
That was Crazy on the Outside. Yeah.
Did Tim write and direct that one? That's with Sigourney Weaver too, right?
Yeah, he did.
And then you were also in the Shaggy Dog. You were the Shaggy Dog? No, just kidding. Yeah,
I was the dog. It's so funny. In the first one, I played a canine cop, and in the second one, I was a criminal. Like me and Tim were. You want to hear something funny? I showed up for like it was a rehearsal audition or whatever. So Tim, he goes, a lot of guys, when they get out of jail, they don't have anything, they don't have like a comb or nothing to wear. He goes, so Goodwill will donate some clothes for them when they get released. So I go to wardrobe, and the lady, she goes, who dressed you? I'm like, these are my clothes. So that's good to know. I walk around dressed like a guy that just got out of prison,
Rocky's got that Goodwill look going.
It's so funny. Mike Green.
Yeah, I love Mike Green.
Yeah, good dude. I was at his club, and that's what we're talking about. And he was saying that, I go, Mike, I've been on the road almost 33 years, and so much has happened to us that don't happen to, like the everyday people. And he said, yeah, he goes, every time we start talking about it, he says, everybody gets quiet, like the staff and the customers, like everyone wants to hear these stories of things we did. And I think us and musicians are only people that get to do stuff like that.
Absolutely. Well, share a couple of those stories. Let's hear some.
Oh, I did a lot of. I got to meet I just told him I got to meet the Rolling Stones and Brett Favre, from the Packers. A couple of years ago, when the Cubs, they beat the Indians in the World Series, that was in October. Literally, like 2 months later, Cleveland Indians front office hired me to do their Christmas party. So when a guy introduces me, he goes, "This next guy's from Chicago." I had 400 people booing me all the way to the stage. They're like booing the whole time. And I'm like, I'm a White Sox fan, you idiots. I was rooting for you guys, But it's just stuff like that, I mean, how often do you get to meet the Stones or hang out with the Green Bay Packers or just do the Tonight Show or just, I met a lot of great people and I've become friends with them. And Lyle Alzado, he used to he played for the Browns for a while and the Raiders. Him and I became friends, and he was just like a sweet man, and it's just amazing the things you get to do, with this job.
That's awesome. Tell me about the Tonight Show experience. Like, what's it like finding out you're going to be on it? What's it like preparing for that set and then just being up there?
Well, they make the Comedy Magic Club in Hermosa Beach. They literally make you run your set there every night for about 2 weeks, like just to make sure it's timed right. They want you right at about 5 minutes, like on and off. That's including laughs. And they say that audience is the closest to a TV audience. They're pretty good. So, you rehearse it for 2 weeks. And then they give you cue cards anyway, in case you get stunned and you forget everything. You could still read them off the cue cards, But the first time I was on, all my friends, like in Pittsburgh and New York and San Francisco, they all had viewing parties. I got bumped.
Oh, no.
So the second time I get on, I got bumped again. So the third time, I didn't even tell nobody. I go, I'm going to wait till we shoot this. And then, because they shoot at about 5 p.m, and then it airs that night. So the third time, I just waited till I shot it. Man, I got to tell you, Jeff, it's like being in a car crash. Like it happens so fast, and then you remember things later. And I just remember when I saw the tape about a minute into my set, I actually saw myself breathe. Like I went, and my shoulders went down. And I remember thinking in my head, I go, I'm on a Tonight Show and I'm doing really good. So then you relax and then you just bring it home. So then afterwards, Jay calls me over to the desk. I walk over, he shakes my hand and he goes, turn around, you're getting a standing ovation. And I'm like, man, it was just on cloud nine there for a while,
It's incredible.
Yeah. And then they pick you up in a limo and it's all first class stuff. Well, the very next week I had a gig booked. Some of our stuff's booked for months out, I had a gig booked up in the mountains in Pennsylvania. It was at a fire hall and it was somebody's 50th anniversary. So all these people were in their 70s. I'm up there, people are walking up behind me getting food. There's a big table and they're eating in the middle of my act. And I got there, I didn't know the gig was in the day, and I got there late, and I'm there in sweatpants and a ball cap. And the lady goes, come on, we got to go. They're waiting for you now. They're all old people. So I'm in some lady's basement in Pittsburgh, and I'm washing my head, and she's ironing my shirt. And I'm thinking, I was on a Tonight Show last week in a limo. Now I'm in some basement in Pittsburgh getting my head washed to go do a fire hall, you know? I'm like, welcome to showbiz.
And for those who aren't comedians that are listening, that's comedy in a nutshell for you.
It is a roller coaster ride, you know?
1 minute you're doing the biggest thing ever, and the next minute you're playing Rita's Basement.
Yeah. I remember one time it was in San Diego. They used to have an improv down there. This morning, you know, those shock jocks, those nitwits, they go, hey, we're going to do it was a Saturday morning. It was a 5 o'clock in the morning breakfast show. And we just got done working like at midnight for Friday. So all these people that came on Saturday morning, they were pretty much out since Friday night. They were all drunk. So they were having a food drive. Anybody that brought canned goods for the homeless, they got in free. There's all drunk people and homeless people there. And they had all these cans, but at the time, they didn't have can openers. Do you remember when cans were sealed?
Yes.
So all these homeless people, this guy goes, not only am I homeless, I can't open my beans. They're trying to break him on Kurt. Nobody had can openers. I'm like, now we have to have a can opener drive. And I really think after that, like, I think that's when they started making flip tops. I think that was for maybe homeless people and housewives. Like, if you don't have a can opener, they started putting flip tops on cans. You know, you try to do something nice, it turns into a disaster.
Can opener drive. I needed to repeat that because that was possible.
That's what we needed.
That was really, really funny. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. The worst was like trying to open tuna fish with a can opener, and then you have to open it, it starts spilling out everywhere. You know, the pull tops. It's ingenious.
Yeah, whoever thought of that must have been at my gig. You know, he must have been at that gig in San Diego.
Too funny. Okay, so you got discovered by Tim Allen participating on Last Comic Standing. This is 2014 season 8, I believe. Yeah, that sound about right?
Yeah.
So did you have to kind of audition, or were you kind of picked for that? To be one of the contestants?
Well, you know what happened? For Last Comic Standing, season 1, Dat Fan won. Do you remember that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I like that, but the whole comedy community goes, that's our best comic in the United States. You know what I mean? Like, he was crying on TV, you know, and then everybody voted for him. So season 2, I got into it. I remember I was in it with Kathleen Madigan and Tammy Pescatelli. They had one spot left. They were picking 10 people, and they already had 9, and it was down to one more spot. I lost to a stripper. They picked a stripper. She didn't even, I don't mind losing to a good comic, you know, but a chick that dances on a pole, like, come on. So they picked her, and then the next year they called my managers, and they go, you know, we know Rocky got screwed last year, and blah, blah, blah. And, but the good thing was I got the Tonight Show out of that. The guys that booked the Tonight Show were in the audience. So I got the Tonight Show out of that. So it seems like every time a door closes, another one opens. They go, yeah, Rocky got screwed last year. Have him come back next year. So I went back the third year, and then it was the same thing. There was one slot left. I lost to a guy. Do you remember this? He was dressed up as a gorilla eating a banana and dancing. It's like, I'm not even losing the normal people here. You know what I mean? I'm losing the strippers and gorillas. That's like, are you kidding me? So after that, I didn't want nothing to do with it. I go, it's not about comedy. They want the hot chick, and, you know, they were putting people in houses. Remember with Todd Glass, and they want attention. They were making it a reality show. And I go, this ain't fun. So I just skipped it. And then season 8, Wanda Sykes came on. And they called me. They go, no, it's going to be more of a level playing field, and it's going to be, you know. And then I found out that wasn't true either. But that's the business we're in, right? Like, you got to keep swinging, right, for the fences.
Yeah, I remember I auditioned for the season that John Heffron, I think, or that was Kathleen Madigan and John Heffron, I think we're in that season. So probably season 2. And Mark Ridley had known someone, so I was supposed to fly down with a buddy of mine, Jay Chris, and he missed the plane. So I'm down there by myself, and I don't have the names, and nobody has this is before cell phones. But like a few hours later, he showed up, and we walked in, and we did our little audition. He got kind of picked for the late show, the next one, and I got picked to do nothing. Actually, I got picked to do nothing, and I think Jim Norton was there. I think this was the year Jim Norton got it, and there was another guy there, Buck Starr. Okay, and Buck Starr
sounds like a male stripper.
Well, this guy Buck Starr apparently worked for the show, and I'm watching it. This is when I realized like it was all the reality TV is how manipulated it is. And so I'm watching him, and he got picked to go to like the late show, right? And apparently, what I don't know right now, and he's on the phone with his dad, and then the producer gets on the phone because they're trying to get his dad to say something to make him cry. So they're really trying to manipulate this phone call. What I didn't realize till I watched it back was he had auditioned at every single city. And then, so this was...
Oh, I remember that guy. Yeah. I remember that.
And so this was him. This was the last show. This was the last audition show. And so he finally got on. And I didn't realize it was like a thing. It was like a thing that they just kind of, because he kind of worked with the show. It didn't just show up at every...
Yeah.
So, but I was watching them going, they're trying to get him to cry. Because they want his dad to say something or something to make him cry. And so it was just so crazy. I think Jim Norton got on. And then he made it. And then I think he eventually had to drop out for something else, if I remember correctly, if my memory serves.
Who would spend like $80,000 going city to city to try to get on the show that keeps telling you no?
I think he worked for Last Comic Standing, and so he was just part of the crew. Yeah. So that was my thing. But I remember my friend Jay Chris, he was filling out this form to be on the show. I mean, these forms that you have to fill out to be on TV. It was like, who is your roommate from, college, like every year, and all their information. I'm like, because God forbid is like, this guy, Jeff Dwoskin, just appeared. His roommate killed 50 people, 7, that he hasn't seen in 10 years, but we don't need the press. We don't need the press.
Yeah.
But yeah, so,
I know.
It was crazy. So the thing I remember about, correct me if I'm wrong about this, I remember you've got a very great style of delivery. It's part of like your charm and why you're so funny, right? I mean,
thanks, man. Thank you.
Was it Rosanne or somebody that told you to talk faster or change your rhythm? And because I remember like watching it, and I remember like other people talking about it too, or whatever, in some groups or whatever. And I was like, what are they doing? Telling Rocky to change his delivery. This is Rocky Laporte. Do you not understand? Somebody wasn't getting you. It was just like...
Yeah. I think they hired her to be like who's that guy on, he's kind of the mean guy on...
on American Idol? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on his name. It's not Simon.
She hired her to be him, Simon. One of the episodes, here's the thing. This is the only thing that bothered me. And I'm not one of those guys that like toot my horn and say, but I'm not even exaggerating. After every set I had, I got a standing ovation. Like the crowd stood up and applauded. But they didn't let the audience vote that year. They let the judges vote. So they were going to have in who they wanted in, So one show, Rosanne told me, she goes, "You're funny, but your pace is too slow." And I remember Bill Burr, and he didn't have to do this. I'll always be indebted to him. She put it on Twitter. Bill Burr goes, "Hey, Rosanne," he goes, that's like telling Stephen Wright to slow it down. Like that's his pace. Like Rocky killed in clubs for years at that pace, That made me feel good, at least, that some of my peers knew that she was kind of off base. I didn't like that because I thought it was going to be a level playing field, but it wasn't. They put in who they wanted. Then at the end, we had this big rap party, and she's dancing with me and drinking, and she's going, "You're a wonderful comic." And I'm like, why didn't you say that on television, It's what it is, It's what it is. It's our business.
I guess karma happens to all the good people, right?
Yeah, Dom Irera, right?
Yeah. He's funny, dude.
I remember one time he auditioned for a show, they wanted to do a show around him, but they didn't like him. So then they started casting for a Dom Irrera type. It's like, God, Dom Irrera, like what the hell, you know? It's like, geez.
Just like it's insane what these casting people do. When it's about comedy, it's like, and it's not about who's the funniest. It's why do it? Why bother doing it? Just do something else. You can do a comedy showcase. You don't have to bring back what's the one where they sat in the chair and you tried to make them laugh?
Oh, I did that too. Yeah, Make Me Laugh.
Yeah, make me laugh.
I did the new Make Me Laugh. That was a lot of fun. You know, Hollywood, most of the people out there, it seems like it just runs out of fear. Like everyone's in fear of losing their job. So everybody overcorrects everything and everything's under a microscope. And it's just like, you know, comics that have been making people laugh for 30 years, that's what they do. Let them do that, you know, like they let Roseanne be who she was in Seinfeld. Like they let them be themselves on those shows. And Ray Romano, that's why all those shows worked. But then they get you in there and they go, hey, we want you to, you know, you're going to work in a zoo with tigers. And I'm like, wait, what? You know?
So what advice would you give to somebody who wants to be a comedian? Hey, Rocky, give me some advice. What would it be?
Apply to drive at Amazon. It's a real big thing now. You know what? Comedy's hard. It's not easy at all. And it's a tough life. Like you go city to city, you sleep in dumps, you know, especially in the beginning. I've missed out on a lot of things with my family, you know, because of it. It's a lot of sacrifices. The things that I think changed today, some of these kids, they have a funny 15-minute video that goes viral, and then a club will headline them for 45, and they don't have 45. They just got that 15-minute thing. And I think the only way you get your education and learn how to be a good, well-rounded comic is you got to go on the road. You got to play the South and the East and the Northwest, and that's how you learn to play the country, because they're different audiences, you know?
Great advice from the man who's been everywhere and one of the funniest people around. I can't thank you enough for hanging with me, Rocky.
You're welcome, brother. It was a lot of fun, man.
How can people keep up with you on the socials?
I'm at Rocky Laporte with an E on everything, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Now, I'll put all the links to all that stuff in the show notes so people can find you real easy.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Rocky. It was amazing hanging with you.
You're welcome, brother. It was good to see you.
All right. How fun was Rocky Laporte? So many great stories. Such a hilarious comedian. If he comes to your town, definitely get some tickets and go see Rocky Laporte live in concert at your local comedy club. With the interview over, it can only mean one thing. That's right. It's time for another trending hashtag from the family of hashtags at Hashtag Roundup. Download the free Hashtag Roundup app at the Apple App Store or Google Play Store. It's free, always free. Download, play, receive notifications right to your phone every time a hashtag game starts. Play along with us, and one day one of your tweets may show up on a future episode of Live from Detroit, The Jeff Dwoskin Show. Fame and fortune await you. This week's hashtag is hashtag Broadway for Dogs, brought to us by Sneaky Tags, a weekly game on hashtag Roundup. Thought we'd pull the theme from the episode where we talked about Rocky working with Tim Allen on the Shaggy Dog movies. Hashtag Broadway for Dogs, the ultimate dog Broadway mashup tag. Take something Broadway, take something dog related, mash them together, and you get hashtag Broadway for Dogs. Here are some fun examples. Obedience School of Rock, The Music Man's Best Friend, The Best Little Doghouse in Texas, Rock of Sausages, The Collar Purple, The Sound of Howling, The Hills Are Alive, West East Side Story, The Lion King Cavalier, Book of Malteses, The Panting of the Opera, and our final hashtag Broadway for Dogs tweet, Annie, get your Frisbee. Oh, all right. Those were some awesome hashtag Broadway for Dogs tweets. As always, I'll be retweeted at Jeff Dwoskin Show on Twitter. Show him some love, retweet him, like him, let him know you heard about him on the Jeff Dwoskin Show. Don't forget to visit us at jeffisfunny.com. Buy me a coffee. No better way to celebrate the upcoming 100th anniversary than buying me a coffee. Sign up for my mailing list, tell all your friends, subscribe to the podcast. So much you can do, so much fun to be had at jeffisfunny.com. Well, we're at the end of the episode. Can you believe it? Episode 94 is come and gone. I want to thank my special guest, Rocky Laporte, for joining me. And of course, I want to thank all of you for coming back week after week. It means the world to me. And I'll see you next time.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of The Jeff Dwoskin Show with your host, Jeff Dwoskin. Now go repeat everything you heard and sound like a genius. Catch us online at thejeffdwoskinshow.com or follow us on Twitter at Jeff Dwoskin Show. And we'll see you next time.